When voices of children are heard on the green and laughing is heard on the hill, my heart is at rest within my breast and everything else is still. Then come home, my children, the sun has gone down and the dews of night arise. Come, come, leave off play and let us away till the morning appears in the skies. No, no, let us play, for it is yet day, and we cannot go to sleep. Besides, in the sky the little birds fly, and the hills are all covered with sheep. Well, well, go and play till the light fades away, and then go home to bed. The little ones leaped and shouted and laughed, and all the hills echoed. When the voices of children are heard on the green and whisperings are in the dale, the days of my youth rise fresh in my mind, my face turns green and pale. Then come home, my children, the sun has gone down and the dews of night arise. Your spring and your day are wasted in play, and your winter and night in disguise. Nurse's Song refers to two related works from Blake's two most prominent collections, Songs of Innocence and Songs of Experience, and as with most other works, they present two contrasting versions. While the poem and Songs of Innocence use a simple language to form impressive images of children playing by the countryside, brimming with joy and angelic undertones, the poem and Songs of Experience shows the nurse as bitter and remorseful, a woman crushed by the obligations of adulthood and envious of the freedom of childhood, so much so that she calls play wasteful. Childhood is a beautiful concept and one that lends itself to poetic depictions rather easily. The unfettered gaiety is more profound in its absence than in its presence when we are adults and tied down by responsibilities. Reminiscing or even being around a child can be a refreshing change of pace, but just yet, let's listen to the Nurse's Song. Both poems are lyric poems, a form of poetry which expresses personal emotions and dramatizes emotional effusion, customarily filled with images, metaphors, and other poetic devices. While the former is written in 4 quatrains, the latter is written in 2, with both adopting a rhyme scheme of A, B, C, B. Further, the third line of each stanza sometimes carries an internal rhyme. The two poems have parallel lines and yet present a fascinating dichotomy. In the first poem, children are playing on the grass, and as their laughter floods the air, the nurse finds her heart at rest and the world outside quiet. She calls the children home as the sun slips into the bushes and the night descends, and asks for them to be away until the morning is back. In the second poem, children are playing on the grass. There are whispers in the air and not laughter, and the nurse finds herself envious and pale. She calls the children home, but she says that their days are wasted in play. In the last 2 quatrains of the first poem, the children argue that the daylight is still out in all its glory, with birds in the sky and sheep on the hills, and so they cannot go to sleep. The nurse relents and lets them play till the light fades away, and as they leap and shout and laugh, the hills are abound with a felicity often only accomplished by a child's heart. Poetry can make you feel a lot of different emotions, but much like human life, the art form is more home to wistfulness and sorrow than it is to joy, and William Blake's Nurse's Song achieves this duality rather brilliantly. If you stopped at the first poem, you're filled with a vicarious happiness that swells your heart. But if you did venture forward, that happiness is tainted by, well, the reality of your present life. In my experience, and in my experience only, being around a child can make life's troubles seem distant and trivial, and this poem does a splendid job of capturing that. Visual and auditory imagery are used to good effect, and the use of simple and conversational language makes it an effortless and enjoyable read. It makes you think of your days of sandcastles and ball pits, fields of grass and swings, and if for nothing else, for that alone, this poem is worth reading.